Jaya Kunja Bihari Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridvaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridvaradhari Jaya Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Giridvaradhari Jashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Stotra Sate His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Shri Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Gaura Hari Ki Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Krishna. So I thought today it's sort of fitting with the verse that we sing one bhajan by Narottam Das Thakur, one of my favorite bhajans, one of the first I learned. ভারো করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই পতিত পাবন তোমা বিন কেহ নাই পতিত পাবন তোমা বিন কেহ নাই যাহারানি কাতে গেলে পাপা দূর হে যায় যাহারানি কাতে গেলে পাপা দূর হে যায় এমন দয়ালা প্রভু কেবকতা পায় এমন দয়ালা প্রভু কেবকতা পায় গঙ্গার রস হইলে পস্ক্যত পাবান গঙ্গার রস হইলে পস্ক্যত পাবান গঙ্গার রস হইলে পস্ক্যত পাবান दर्शन है पवित्र करो ए तुम्हारा गान दर्शन है पवित्र करो ए तुम्हारा गान हरि स्तन है अपराधे तारे हरि नाम हरिस्तान है यहाँ पर राधे तारे हरि नाम तुम स्थान है अपराधे नहीं परित्राण तुम स्थान है यहाँ पर राधे नहीं परित्राण तुम्हारा रे दया सदा गोविंद विश्राम तुम्हारा रे दया सदा Govinda Vishram. Govinda Kohena Mora Vaishnava Paran. Govinda Kohena Mora Vaishnava Paran. Govinda Kohena Prati janme kori asha Charana tuli. Prati janme kori asha Charana tuli. Prati janme kori asha Charana tuli. Narottame kohoro doya apanarapoli. Narottame Narottame kohoro doya apanarapoli. Narottame kohoro doya E bharo karuna karo Vaishnava koshai. E bharo karuna karo Vaishnava koshai. Patita pavana toma bin ke honai. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Gauranga, Nityananda. Vaishnav Thakur ki Jai. Would anyone like to read the translation? Maybe the mic so that the people could hear it if possible. We have one. Yes, there's people online and they can hear you.
O Vaishnav Goswami, please be merciful to me now. There is no one except you who can purify the fallen souls. Where does anyone find such a merciful personality, by whose mere audience all sins go far away? After bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganges many times, one becomes purified, but just by the sight of you, the fallen souls are purified. This is your great power. The Holy name delivers one who has committed an offense to Lord Hari, but if one commits an offense to you, there is no means of deliverance. Your heart is always the resting place of Lord Govinda, and Lord Govinda says, the Vaishnavas are in my heart. I desire the dust of your holy feet in every birth I may take. Please consider Narottam yours and be kind upon him.
Jai, thank you. That's such a nice song. We all go through these. We all go through these phases where we get into some offensive mentality, and whenever that sort of comes about me, when some situation happens, then I always turn to the song. I always try and sing the song, especially the fourth verse. Haristane aparade tare harinam, tomastane aparade nahi paritran. If we make offense to Krishna, we just chant Hare Krishna and Krishna forgives. But if you make offense to a Vaishnava, there's no deliverance from that. And then how will you chant Krishna's name? So yeah, this is it's a really nice song, and I wanted to sing it because in the verse today, in the purport, it's very much speaking about the paraphernalia of the Lord, and how Dhruva Maharaj is really respecting the paraphernalia of the Lord. And the paraphernalia of the Lord includes the Vaishnavas, and so I thought this was very fitting to sing today. Thank you for humoring me. Okay, let's get into the verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Jaya Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Bhato Jaya Mudhuraye. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Parityabacharya. Oh no, that's not the meter. Parityabacharya Dishnagram Parshadava Bhivandyacha Yashatadadistatam Bibradrupam Hiranmayam Parityabhyachara Dishnagram Parshadava Bhivandyacha Yashatadadistatam Bibradrupam Hiranmayam Parityabacharya Dishnaigram Parshadava Bhivandyacha Yashatadadistatam Vibradrupam Hiranmayam. Parichabhyacharya Dishnagram Parshadav Abhivantacha Iyashata Dadishtatam Vibradrupam Hiranmayam. Paritya, having circumambulated. Abhyarcha, having worshipped. Dishnaigrayam, the transcendental airplane. Parshadho, unto the two associates. Abhivandya, having offered obeisances. Cha, also. Yasha, he attempted. Tat, that plane. Adishtatam, to board. Vibrat, illuminating. Rupam, his form. Hiranmayam, golden. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Before getting aboard, Dhruva Maharaj worshipped the airplane, circumambulated it, and offered obeisances to the associates of Vishnu. In the meantime, he became as brilliant and illuminating as molten gold. He was thus completely prepared to board the transcendental airplane. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. In the absolute world, the plane, the associates of Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu himself are all spiritual. There is no material contamination in quality. In quality, everything there is one. As Lord Vishnu is worshipable, so also are his associates, his paraphernalia, his airplane, and his abode. For everything of Vishnu's is as good as Lord Vishnu. Dhruva Maharaj knew all this very well, as a pure Vaishnava, and he offered his respects to the associates and to the plane before riding in it. But, in the meantime, his body changed into spiritual existence, and therefore it was illuminating like molten gold. In this way, he also became one with the other paraphernalia of Vishnu Loka. Mayavadi philosophers cannot imagine how this oneness can be achieved, even in the different varieties. Their idea of oneness is that there is no variety. Therefore, they have become impersonalist. As Sushumara, Vishnu Loka, or Dhruva Loka are completely different from this material world. So a Vishnu temple within this world is also completely different from this material world. As soon as we are in a temple, we should know very well that we are situated differently from the material world. In the temple, Lord Vishnu, his throne, his room, and all other things associated with the temple are transcendental. The three modes, Sattvagun, Rajagun, and Tamagun, have no entrance into the temple. It is said, therefore, that to live in the forest is in the mode of goodness, to live in the city is in the mode of passion, and to live in the brothel, liquor shop, or slaughterhouse is in the mode of ignorance. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Shri Gaurahari ki. But to live in the temple means to live in Vaikuntha Loka. Everything in the temple is as worshipable as Lord Vishnu or Krishna. Translation one more time. Before getting aboard, Dhruva Maharaj worshipped the airplane, circumambulated it, and also offered obeisances to the associates of Vishnu. In the meantime, he became as brilliant and illuminating as molten gold. He was thus completely prepared to board the transcendental plane. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. I'd like to ask all the Vaishnavas to give me some blessings. As Bhaktivigyan Maharaj sometimes says, it's in your best interest if you give me your blessings. Oh, and Jai Prabhu was here. Hey Prabhu, thank you so much for coming to our class. Please give your blessings. It's a great offense to speak in front of such a senior Vaishnava. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this verse, it's speaking a lot about respect to the paraphernalia. You know, Dhruva Maharaj, yesterday Maharaj also followed this theme of respect when he was speaking about how Dhruva Maharaj wasn't like getting all excited and, you know, sort of overwhelmed with the fact that the plane is coming for him, and he didn't sort of get into a tiz because of this. Rather, he was very respectful, and rather he was very proper in the way that he behaved. And then here as well we see he didn't just get onto the plane, he circumambulated the plane first. And this is a very deep level of respect for the paraphernalia of the Lord. Sometimes we cannot really understand how the paraphernalia of the Lord is non-different from the Lord. When you think of that statement, what comes to mind? What can you think of? How is the table non-different from the Lord? How is the floor that we walk on non-different from the Lord? It's quite inconceivable for us, but Prabhupada explains in one purport in the 11th canto, when he's speaking about deity worship, when Narada Muni, I think, Krishna is instructing on deity worship, and Prabhupada explains in the purport that on a lower stage, a Kanishta stage, we can't understand these things, how the paraphernalia is different from the Lord, because it's a transcendental matter. I thought of one way that we could explain it. In the material world, we can say that we're non-different from our paraphernalia because we get affected by what happens to the things around us. You know, in our consciousness, our body is ourselves. This is material consciousness. So when the body gets hurt, we say, oh, I got hurt. Or as Prabhupada gives the example, when the car gets hit, then the person in the car says, oh, you hit me. So this is bodily consciousness when we identify with our paraphernalia in the material world. Now in the material world, the paraphernalia is matter and the jiva is spirit, but still the identification is still so strong between the jiva and the paraphernalia. So what to speak of in the spiritual world, where the Lord is spirit and the paraphernalia is spirit. The paraphernalia is Lord Balaram, expansion of Baladev. And so there, so much more is this Achinta Beda Betattva, this one and simultaneous oneness and difference, where the Lord and his paraphernalia are worshipable. And I think in this temple it's really nice to speak about this, because there's a very high standard here for worship of the paraphernalia of the Lord throughout the special atmosphere. Wherever you go, when you come back to Sri Sri Radharanath, there's this very special feeling when you walk into the temple room and when you see the deities, because of the quality of the worship here, the quality of respect for the paraphernalia. Because ultimately respect means consciousness. To be respectful means to be careful, and to be careful means to be conscious. And before Krishna consciousness, we have to be conscious. So it's a very important part of our culture actually. Our whole culture actually is based around respect. Respect is actually the natural opposite of envy. Envy is when we have a complete lack of respect for others, for other beings, for paraphernalia. This is a complete lack of respect. And so our whole culture, we can see, from the morning, the first thing we do when we wake up, we're supposed to offer respects. This is one of the first things. We offer obeisances to the earth. We offer obeisances to our spiritual master when we wake up, to the deities if you're living in the temple. When you walk into the temple room, you're offering respects. When you leave the temple room, we're offering respects. When we're singing the songs, we're saying Namaha. This is all respect. Our whole culture is based on this respect. And this respect is actually meant to counter the envy that's within our hearts. Because actually non-enviousness is the first quality if you want to enter into the transcendental matters. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaram. This is one of the first verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And it's the first qualification. If you want to understand the matters of Srimad Bhagavatam, you need to be nirmatsaro. You need to be without envy. The Goswamis of Vrindavan, in the Sad Goswami Astakamba Srinivasacharya, in the first verse, Krishna Kirtana Ganana Tanaparo Premamritam Boniti Dira Dira Janapriyo Priyakaro Nirmatsaro Pujito. The 6 Goswamis, not only were they chanting and dancing and having a good time, Premamrito, they weren't just absorbed in prem and completely transcendental. They were completely transcendental, but they had respect. They had so much gravity with the Vrajbasis. Dira Dira Janapriyo. It said that Sanatana Goswami, he would walk around in Vraja, and he would go to the common people, villages, and he would ask, how is your mother, how is your sister, how is your daughter? Very common people, not anyone special, but still Dira Dira. The great devotees, they see without this difference who is sober, who is not, who is a rascal, who is a pure devotee. They are very much impartial to everybody. They don't feel this envy. Not to say they don't discriminate, we have discrimination, but they are non-envious, nirmatsaro pujito. And because they are non-envious, they are worshipable. This is their qualification. This is our qualification, to be non-envious. Even in the case of Varnashram Dharma, Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, he explains that Varnashram Dharma, what we see right now today, the remnants of it, it's been destroyed because of envy. Because the Brahmanas feel envious towards the lower caste, therefore the lower caste feel envious towards the Brahmanas, and therefore there's this perpetual fighting, and therefore there's the degradation of Varnashram Dharma. So the first step in even trying to cultivate something like Varnashram Dharma is non-envious. This is what it's all about. When we're doing yagya, idam narshimha idam namama, I remember Sura Prabhu, after every single offering, he would say this, idam narshimha idam namama. It's not me, it's about somebody else. This is respect. But when it's envy, it's always in relationship to me. What did this person do to me? Why is he like this? It's always my opinion of this person. Yeah, so Nama, this is how we become humble. If we pay respects, then we can become humble. If we're non-envious, we can become humble. Junara pisa nichena tarora pisa hishnuna manina. Manina means not offering respect to myself. Manadena, offering respect to others. So this is so integral in our culture, but sometimes it's very easy to forget about it. Everything else that we're doing, so many other things to do. I got my 16 rounds to do. I got to cook for the deities. I have to read forget sometimes about the most basic thing when we're walking past each other. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, how are you? With a smile, instead of just sort of looking away and Hare Krishna, walk away. These are such like basic principles. Who was it? Radhanath Maharaj, he said, sometimes we get so transcendental, we get so much above the bodily platform of life that we forget about these basic principles of respect. Bhaktivigyan Maharaj, he also mentions, lust is like a flu. Lust is a small thing. Getting rid of lust, it's not so big. Lust isn't that much of a big deal. He says this, lust is like a flu, but envy is like cancer. Envy is like, this isn't Vigyan, this is from Bhaktivigyan. I have not realized this yet. But envy is like cancer. It's something that burns the heart, and if we continue to allow this envy to manifest within our heart, there's no way that we can understand the transcendental matters. Then I wanted to quote one thing about respect to the paraphernalia as well. This is from the 11th canto. Prabhupada explains again about respect towards the paraphernalia of the Lord. Not only the performer of the theft, but also one who assists him in instigating the crime, or simply approves of it, must also share the reaction in the next life. According to the degree of participation, they must each suffer proportionate consequences. And so in the previous verse, it's explained that one who is disrespectful or steals the paraphernalia of the Lord, they must take birth 100 times in stool, as a worm in stool. It's a really heavy thing. I was really shocked. Anyone who steals the property of the demigods or the brahmanas, whether it originally be given to them by himself or someone else, must live as a worm in stool for 100 million years. So it's really intense. Anyone who steals the property, and in this chapter they're speaking about demigod. They're speaking about worship of the Lord, and so when they're speaking about this kind of property, they're speaking about the paraphernalia of the Lord, paraphernalia for worship. So Dhruva Maharaj, when he gets into the plane, it's interesting. He gains his transcendental form. He becomes golden. And this indicates some purity. It's explained that if you want to really get gold to be very pure and you want the luster to come out, you have to smelt it, you have to make it molten. And in this way you'll really get the purity of gold to come out, because all impurities are going out and then it's just gold, and the shine will start really coming out. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. It's explained Srimati Radharani's body is like that of molten gold. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body is like that of molten gold. And so if we really want, if we want to enter into the transcendental matters, if we want to become a part of the Lord's pastimes, if we want to gain this nature, the spiritual nature, then it's really integral that we get rid of these impurities. It's really integral that we get rid of this envy within our hearts, this lack of respect. Otherwise there's no hope. There's one verse from, one extract from the purport. A purport from the 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 47th verse. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, since the Kanishta, who cannot properly respect other devotees, will certainly fail to offer respects to ordinary living entities, who are not even devotees, a Kanishta Adhikari is useless for practical preaching work. Unless he comes to the higher platform of understanding, Srila Jiva Goswami says, Iyam cha shraddha na shastra vadharanya jata. Because the Kanishta Adhikari's faith is not actually based on the statements of the Vedic literature, he cannot understand the exalted position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within everyone's heart. Therefore, he cannot actually manifest love of God, nor can he understand the exalted position of the devotees of the Lord. Krishna is so glorious that Krishna's intimate associates must also be glorious. But this is unknown to the Kanishta Adhikari. occupation of a Vaishnava, which is to offer all respects to others, amanena manadena kirtaniya sadahari, is also conspicuous by its absence in a Kanishta Adhikari. If such a person, however, has faith in the Vedic literatures and tries to understand the statements of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, he will gradually be elevated to the second and first class stage of devotional service. Yeah, so I thought I'd end off with a pastime on this topic, envy. The Kaliya Leela, where it's actually interesting. There's a few different versions of the Kaliya Leela according to our Goswamis, according to their Leela Spurti, their realizations. In different yugas, there's Leelas where Krishna is dancing on the heads of Kaliya, not by himself, but he's doing a rasa dance on the heads of Kaliya in different yugas. And there's a Leela where Krishna jumps on the heads of Kaliya, and he goes down the Yamuna and he goes to kill Kamsa on the heads of Kaliya, and not with the Krura. He ties like a ring through the nose of Kaliya, and he rides Kaliya all the way to Mathura. So yeah, let's get into that. So yeah, Krishna and the Brajabasis, they were all in Vrindavan. The cowherd boys, they were having a picnic. They were having fun, and all of a sudden, this was when Balaram was not around. Kaliya, he comes into the Yamuna, close to where the cows are grazing, and we see that the grass started drying up. The water became poisonous. The fish started floating. Even it's explained that above the river, the birds, they were dying. The gas of the poison was floating up, and everything was just dying because of this envy. And when Krishna noticed this happening, he climbs onto this Kadamba tree, which is explained by our Goswamis, was actually given a secret sort of blessing or some elixir, some amrita by Garuda, so that it would stay good, it would stay perfect, even though there was so much poison, and Krishna would be able to use it. And he jumps off, like a wrestler, Prabhupada explains, he jumps off of the tree and he subdues Kaliya like this. And Kaliya is paying so much respect to Krishna afterwards. He's realizing, this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he pays so much respect and so many prayers. There's the prayers of Kaliya, the prayers of the wives of Kaliya, but still Krishna sends him out of Vrindavan. Krishna doesn't give him anyway, and it's explained that envy does not have place in Vrindavan, even though Kaliya became a devotee. I mean, Kaliya got the dust of Krishna on his head, so it means that he got some supreme mercy. If we get the dust of Krishna, wow, dust of Krishna's feet on our head, man, that's supreme mercy. But still, he wasn't able to enter into Vrindavan. Still, he was sent out of Vrindavan. And so it's explained by Acharyas that the reason for this is because Kaliya had envy. And so with this envy, there's no way that one can remain in Vrindavan. Is there anyone who has any comments, questions? Yeah. Yeah, Mike.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, devotees.
Hare Vikash, Prabhu.
Thank you. I have two things. One, you said Kaliya was stepped on and he received Krishna's
definitely some agyata sukriti, there's unknown benefit. So even though we aren't perceiving Krishna as he is, we're still getting some benefit. We're still getting a lot of benefit, but it's definitely not as much as if we really reciprocate with him like that. Yeah.
True. So this is personal.
Mm.
I would like to ask. I offended a devotee this morning, and if she's here, I'd like to say I didn't do this intentionally, and it so happened that I offended the devotee. So my greatest apology. Yes, Mataji. So I was told I offended somebody. So I would like to humbly apologize for such an unintentional disregard.
I'm sure the Vaishnavas will give you their blessings. Bhakti Charu Maharaj would have that mood when somebody, when he would offend, not, he wouldn't even offend somebody, he would just like have some sort of misplaced thought about a devotee, or he would do something where there's some slight feeling that he offended, but there wasn't actually any offense, and he would apologize profusely to that person and ask for their forgiveness. So we have that quality. Alright, so it's breakfast pretty soon. Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.